All right, you guys, good to see you tonight. Let's jump into it. So, I think to start with, we'll just sit still, right? Just sit still, be real comfortable, but the thing that we do is to make it on purpose, right? So, for me, the quickest and the easiest way to do that is just to close my eyes, because your mind sort of reaches out to your other senses. So, direct your attention into your sense of touch. Sometimes it's like, my first obstacle is like, that's boring. Why would I feel that? It doesn't mean anything, you know? Treat it like a game, you know? Go into your sense of touch and search things out to feel on purpose, right? Nothing is too small of a target. See if you can feel contact with your clothes. See if you can feel air movement against your skin. You know, take a second just to see what you can find in your sense of touch. And we're going to make that even easier. Finding things to feel, we're going to make that easier because that's what each pose does, right? We do a pose, it makes us feel what's changing and what's moving in our body. And we do that same seeking out in our sense of touch, right? Every time we go to a pose, I'm zooming in, I'm seeing what's there to feel. Okay? So let's notice just for a second where we meet the floor. Notice your connection with the ground, and then take an inhale from the ground all the way up to the top of your head, right? Let that breath in make you nice and tall. And then when you're nice and tall, just hold your breath for a second. And as you exhale, settle into your bones, right? Let your spine hold you up. Okay, let's do that one more time. Breathe in nice and tall. Hold it for just a moment. And then on the exhale, feel the strong part of your body. Feel your bones hold you up. Awesome. So make a plan to let this be your easy pose, right? Whenever we're doing a thing where we're sitting down or we're standing, try to find that balance point where it feels effortless because our bones are doing it, right? It's I think of it as sort of like that game Jenga, where you stack up blocks, stack up your vertebrae so that they balance and you're supported against gravity without your muscles having to get involved. When I'm being still, if I'm sitting down or I'm standing up, I'm trying to use my muscles as pilots, right? Our muscles just get involved every once in a while to put my bones in place, but then they can step back and rest. And when I'm just being still, my skeleton's holding me up. So find that nice, effortless, but stable, upright position. And we'll keep our shoulders square here, and let's put some space in our neck. So first, just lower your chin down towards your chest. Intentionally switch off the back of the neck, right? Let your head be nice and heavy. Okay, let's come back up, and now tilt your head back, right? Feel gravity pulling your head back. Okay, let's come on back to center. This time, take the top of your head and put some space in your neck, right? Sit up nice and tall, and then tilt your left ear towards your left shoulder. And once you found your stopping point there, okay, this is how far my head goes. Now our job is to relax on purpose. Take control out of the neck, because we put it in a safe place, an okay place over here on the left side, and we can release our jaw and the muscles of the neck, and even the muscles of the right shoulder. Okay, let's come back upright, and then just lower the right ear towards the right shoulder. Find that place where you can just hand off control from the muscles to just the shape of the body, right? Our head goes to a certain place, and we don't have to do anything. We can just let it hang loose there. And of course, relax the jaw and the left neck and the left shoulder. All right, that's great. Let's just roll our head a little bit, right? Take your time, real slow, roll your head around. Anywhere where it feels like it doesn't want to go, you know, it hits a stopping point, go in there and explore it, right? If it hurts, don't mess with it. But if it just feels a little tight or a little solid, maybe working with it, moving and changing it a little bit will help. All right, take your circle the other way. Okay, as you circle with your neck, well, actually, let's just bring our head back to center. Just bring your head stable. And we're going to take that same circling movement, but we're going to do it with our chest and the center of the body. So start by taking your solar plexus right here where the ribs curve out and stick it forward, right? Push forward and then circle that around to the right and then back behind you and then over to the left. Make some circles with the chest, right? Same deal, if it feels sort of tight or not circular, take a second to go in there and see if you can round it out a little bit. I like that idea of like finding the edge of our range of motion, right? Here's where my body goes. I'm not trying to force that to change, but I do want to know it, right? I want to be there leaning against it because that feels good and because it makes space in our body. We put some space in our joints and our muscles. Let's circle the other way. Okay, that's great. Let's come back upright, and we're going to take our left leg straight out in front of us. And this is one of our big guns when we talk about yoga poses on purpose. Like, if you just have 30 seconds or a minute and you want to do something to calm down and cool off and sort of find your center, these are the ones. Forward folds. Anytime you feel the back of your leg stretching and the back of the body, those are our cooling postures, which are calming and soothing. Okay, so let's make a plan here. Check in with your upper body, find that balanced upright point again that's not too activated. Our muscles are pretty chill, but we're upright. And then we're going to make the hinge here at the hips. So instead of dropping our head and bending our neck first, try to stay tall, but make it happen from the hips. And what that does is put the stretch in the back of the leg where we want it to go. Okay, so zoom in on the back of the right leg, and when you feel that pull, when you feel that the change in your body shape is making the stretch happen, then settle forward, right? Let your head be heavy, let your shoulders relax. Okay, let's roll it back up nice and smooth. And let's go for the other leg. So right leg is straight. This left leg is up to you. It can either be inside the right or you can cross it over. Sometimes that feels more balanced to me. Anywhere where you want to put it. We just had it bent so we can focus on the right leg. Okay, find your nice, tall, easy position here. And then hinge it forward from the hips. And when you feel that the body change has made, or the position change has made the stretch happen, now just sink forward. You got another option here of using your hands on your leg or your foot to just give a little gentle pull. See if that can help you find what you're looking for in the back of the right leg. Again, that's that's what makes the sort of neuromuscular stuff happen. When we're stretching the back of our leg, that's what makes our heart rate slow down and our breathing slows down. It even lowers your blood pressure a little bit when you find these things that stretch the back of the body. Okay, awesome. Let's come on back upright, and we'll bring the feet together this time. Okay? We'll take the work to the hips. A lot of times when we're freeing up our hips, it is sort of more of a passive stretch. We're sort of leaning against it and you know, again, letting gravity and the shape of our body make space. This one is active. We're actually going to be using the hips and the muscles of the hips and legs to push, right? So we find that consistent, steady activation or steady push, and that's what makes this one work. All right, let's hold our ankles here and give our feet a little scoot back, right? Feel that sort of border of our range of motion again, right? Pull back until they feel stabilized. And then we're going to be reaching up with the top of the head. This is going to keep our spine long, and then we're going to push forward with the lower back. And that opens our heart, and it just sort of keeps us plugged into the pose. All right? And now we're going to start to push our knees towards the floor. Okay, it doesn't have to be hard, maybe 15% strength. But we just keep it switched on, right? Keep the steady push down. Okay, good. Let's make this small change with our hands. Link the fingers together and then cap them around the toes. And then we're going to get real tall through the top of our head. We're going to activate the lower back, press it forward. And then we're going to get the knees pulling in towards the shoulders this time. Same deal. Go slow. If it feels comfortable to you, close your eyes and zoom in to the activation in the hips and legs, all right? Feel which part of the muscles are working. Find where the joints are opening. Find where the joints on the other side are closing. We're just trying to, I like to think of the body as an actual mechanical, like physical system, you know? Like a bridge or like a system of pulleys, which is how our ligaments and our bones and our connective tissues work, right? You pull one side, and the other side gets shorter. Okay, let the knees settle back to their resting point, and this time we're going to reach up and fold it forward over both feet. Okay, excellent. Let's roll it up nice and slow. And we'll go ahead and shift forward to hands and knees here, tabletop position. Excuse me. Okay, cat-cow pose, right? So we're making shapes like a cat, right? And then we're making shapes like a cow, which is when the center of the body sinks and we tilt our tailbone up high and lift our head. Okay, and we're going to match this up with our breathing. So as our back goes up, this is the cat, we're going to breathe in, right? This is the inhale, because we're making space in the back, drawing in breath. And then the exhale, sink with the front of the body, tilt the tailbone up, lift the crown of the head. Okay, let's find just a flat spine, so halfway between the cat and the cow, and we'll take ourselves a spinal twist here. So we're going to turn our left hand up and slide it through behind the right wrist. This is the direction we're going. We're going to lower the that's my left shoulder. Left hand slides through, left shoulder lowers down, and then we're going to bring our head, the left side of the head, to rest against the floor. The first thing to do here is just to settle in. I think of it as like physically accepting the pose. Once you get to a new shape, check in and make sure your body's not like fighting it or defending against it, right? Settle in, and then take the right arm, and we're going to go up and back. Okay, let's come on back to center. And we'll go choose the other side. So our right hand can turn up, it's gonna scoot through, right shoulder really does come down this time, and then the right side of the head, take a second to settle, and then let your left arm come up and back. I know what pose to do if I want to cough. Okay, excellent. Let's come back to center. And in preparation for our downward facing dog, we're going to take some puppy pose. Okay, so what that means is that our lower body, we keep our knees on the ground. Okay, but we're going to go forward with the hands, just like, so we're down behind the hands like we do for downward facing dog. Okay, we're going to keep our elbows off the ground, roll your shoulders back, right? Let your shoulders be broad, but make sure your shoulder blades are settled down the spine and sort of push back, right? Use the strength of the hands and arms and shoulders to press back. Awesome. Let's come on back upright. And let's stick our right leg straight out behind us. Okay, take a second to re-stabilize. Feel what your shoulders and your hips and your back have to do to support your leg. Now we're going to bend our right knee and see how close to our head we can get our foot, right? Get your foot as close to your head as you can. Now we're going to take the left hand and see if we can find that foot. If they don't meet up, just keep them both reaching for the sky, right? If they do meet up, do the same thing. Keep them both reaching for the sky. Okay, let's take that apart and we'll give it a shot on the other side. Also, always a big difference between our sides, right? We're never really very symmetrical at all. Okay, let's extend the left leg straight back behind us. Let the upper body do what it needs to do to stabilize. And now we're going to bend the left knee. Get your left foot as close to your head as it's going to get. And now take your right hand, see what you can find. If they don't want to meet up, just keep them reaching upward, right? Just keep the foot trying to go towards the ceiling, keep the hand trying to go towards the ceiling. Okay, let's bring that back down. Okay, let's take a little bit of child's pose. Okay, so you have an option here. Make sure that your toes are unflipped. What I mean by that, flipping the toes is here, like when we're going to downward facing dog. Unflipped, we're just on the tops of the feet. So make sure you're on the tops of the feet. You can either have the knees right together, we're going to settle back like so, or you can keep your toes together and go out wide with the knees. It's taught both ways, so just whichever way is most comfortable for you. Because this one is all about comfort and relaxing. Because what we're going to do first is just settle back. This is child's pose. And then let the upper body come forward, and you're going to make a little pillow here with your hands and arms, or you can bring your head all the way to the floor if that's more comfortable. Okay, let's make our way back up to tabletop. And we're not going to do a lot of downward facing dog, but let's use that to sort of transition us upright, and we'll do some standing poses. So first, let's take our hands out in front of us. It's the same thing as with the puppy pose, right? We're down low behind the hands. Now we're going to tuck our toes under, settle back, bring your hips back towards your heels, and give a little push with the hands and arms, like compressing the upper body and the hips, and then just straighten your knee. I'm probably making that more complicated than it needs to be. Downward facing dog is just a big triangle, right? Our arms and our spine make a straight line. That's one line of the triangle. Our hips down to our heels makes the other line. One place I tend to overwork this is in my ankles. Notice if your ankles are active and lifting away from the ground, and see if you can switch that off. Because once our heels can settle, your heels don't need to make it to the floor or anything like that, but once our heels are relaxed, we get another big stretch in the back of the legs. And like I was mentioning earlier, those are good for calming us down, smoothing things out. That's why this pose is so awesome, because the lower body's getting a stretch in the back, which is calming and cooling. The upper body is working hard though, as you can tell. Your shoulders and your back have to really work hard to keep this going. So this sort of does two things at once, at least two things. All right, a little bend to the knees. make the knees soft, and then start to take small steps. And the eventual goal is to get our feet up under our upper body so we can start to bring weight to our feet. Okay, now once you got your feet under you, make sure your knees are still nice and bendy, and let your upper body just settle, right? Take out all the tension from your hips to the top of your head and just sort of hang loose, dangle here. We want to keep that same dangling. Everything from the hips to the head is just going to hang loose, but gradually begin to straighten your knees until you feel a good pull, a good stretch in the back of the legs. Okay, let's bend our knees even more. We're going to let our heels pop up and just sort of settle down here I think of it as an egg pose. We're just sort of like making a compact shape with our whole body, right? Let yourself settle in here. Use your arms to mush your knees together, right? I think of it as making one big knee, right? Just press together, make your knees more stable because they're closer together. And then let your neck lengthen and your back lengthen. Notice the shape of the shoulders. They're sort of like widened across the back here because we're sort of curving over our knees. So let's breathe deeply between the shoulders, right? Take some big inhales and see if you can make space in your back by breathing there. Okay? Let your upper body stay where it is. Slowly bring the knees towards straight until you feel that good stretch in the back of the legs. Keep a little bit of a bend in the knees, and we're just going to roll it upright. Take your time, make it graceful and chill. And once you're upright and you feel pretty stable, close your eyes and see if you can allow your body to move, right? We're trying to find the balance here between stability and ease. So do what you have to do to stay upright, but take out all unnecessary tension, all unnecessary activation of the muscles. Very cool. Okay, let's go ahead and smush our feet together, right? Try to put your feet so there's no space at all between them, because that's going to make them more stable. Now, once they're here, press your heels into one another. Rotate your heels so that they're pressing in, because that's going to send this line of stability all the way up the back of the body. It's going to help us balance. Okay? First lock your hands together, then flip your palms, and we're going to go up alongside our ears. Okay, look at something that's not moving. I usually pick a pattern on the floor or on the wall or something. Lift your heels, right? Bring your weight up into the fronts of the feet and the toes. Try to simplify it, right? Once you feel how to do it, see if you're doing extra stuff. And if you are, try to let that go. Excuse me. Awesome. Let's come on down with our heels and we'll release the arms. Let's put some space between our feet. Just stand comfortably, right? They don't have to be anywhere in particular. We just want to feel stable and secure. Right? Let's start to swing here a little bit. We're going to let the arms and the shoulders be floppy, right? Be loose and easy. And as our hands come around, we're going to give ourselves a pat on the back. Right there, right? So one hand sort of hitting your side, the other hand's about where your kidneys are. So, yeah, that's good. A couple of nice, easy circles here. Okay, now take your contact point a little higher so you're making contact with the lower ribs. Okay, now right here on the collarbones, right? As your front hand comes around, give yourself a pat right here on the top of the collarbone. That's good, you guys. You're more fluid with this than I am. I look like a rusty robot when I first figured it out. All right, now let your top hand give yourself a pat on the top of the shoulder. All right, we'll work our way back down. So first, the front hand is making contact on the collarbone, and then a couple taps on the lower ribs, and then finally, side of the belly and the lower back. Excellent. All right, shake it out with the intention of letting go of anything that we have stored in the shoulders and the elbows and the wrists and the fingers. Just let them be floppy and free, right? Shake out any unnecessary tension. And then let's go sideways on the mat for a moment. We want our feet to be at least as wide as our shoulders, right? So very wide stance here. And we're going to tuck our toes in towards one another. Okay? Angled in. Now that's going to let us roll our weight to the outside edges of the feet, like the pinky toe edges of the feet, right? Put your weight out there. Feel that. Feel how that lengthens the sides, the outsides of the legs. Okay? Hands to the hips, and we're going to get our elbows reaching back for one another. Okay? That's going to stretch the shoulders and open our heart here. So keep that slight pull back going, and then we're going to hinge it forward from the hips. Find that point where the back feels about flat. And then instead of pulling away from the floor, see if you can put your energy into getting taller through the crown of the head and lengthening back through the tailbone. It's like a lengthening vibe instead of a pulling. And it makes it sort of more fun, sort of. It seems like, that's why it's one of my big motivations of doing this stuff, because it makes living fun. It makes moving and having a body fun, right? It makes it on purpose, and you can make a game out of it. You find more efficient and fun ways of moving. All right, let's let the upper body gently relax, and we're just gonna hang loose. You can bring your hands and arms down to the floor or to your legs or wherever they want to go, but just let the upper body release in. All right, let's see if we can get a little side-to-side movement, right? Maybe bend one knee as you shift your weight in that direction, and then bend the other knee and shift your weight in that direction. Just see what you can find. Excuse me. Okay, let's ease ourselves on down to the floor, and we're going to go ahead and lie back on our backs for a few things. Awesome. So this one I love because it affects so many parts of the body. It was taught to me as a spinal twist, but it does at least as much for the hip flexors, which tends to get tight because I think hip flexors tend to get tight because they don't loosen by walking. They will a little bit, but sometimes you have to really focus to stretch the outside of the hips. You got to focus. You have to do it on purpose, you know. So this pose does that, and it also twists the spine. So let's step in with both feet. So we got our knees bent, and then we're going to cross our right knee over the left. Yep, awesome. Right knee is just snugged up on the left knee. And now, put your attention for just a moment in the back of the left shoulder and make a plan to keep it home there, right? You don't have to push down or do anything about it. Just notice what that feels like, because that's going to be our anchor. So as our knees go the other way, it works better if our upper body is stable. So we're just going to start to let the knees drift over to the right. And once you start to feel that land in the upper body, outside the left, outside of the belly, even up into the left side of the ribs, definitely the left hip flexors there, outside the hip. Just be there, right? Close your eyes and be present to where the pose is happening, or be present where the pose is happening in the body. Awesome. Let's come on back up through center. And then we'll undo the knees and we'll redo the knees on the other side. So left is on top, the knees are just relaxed, just crossed over one another like we do when we're sitting. Okay, notice your right shoulder. Feel what it feels like to have your right shoulder on the ground. Keep that going. You don't have to push, but just remember that's what we want. And then we're going to lower the knees with control over to the left side. And because the left leg is on top, it's weighing down on the outside of the right, and that's what's making all this wonderful space outside the right, or the right outside body. Okay, let's come on back up to center. We'll undo the knees, and we're just going to take them out straight. Just let the legs go out straight. Okay, we're going to do some fish pose here, which is expanding the front of the body. It's a big stretch from our hips up all the way up to our chin, really, the whole front of the upper body. So for this one, we're going to start with our hands down by our sides, our arms down by our sides, and then tuck your hands underneath your seat. So you're basically sitting on the back of your hands, and you got your palms down against the floor. Okay? Once you got your hands in place, see if you can work your elbows in towards one another. And this is already starting to stretch our chest, right? As you get your elbows in, you already start to feel that broadening of the front of the body. That's what we want. Okay? And once your elbows are as close as they're going to get, lock them to the floor by a gentle downward push, right? Press your elbows into the ground. We're not trying to use a lot of effort. We just want to stabilize ourselves there because we're about to put the weight of the upper body into the elbows. All right, so just make sure they're where they're going to be. And then we'll start by picking our head up.
look down at your toes, right? That's just going to make our excuse me. That's just going to make this next part easier. And what we're going to do is to lift up onto the elbows and curve up with the chest, right? The solar plexus is the top here. We want to be reaching for the sky with the solar plexus and the lower ribs. You can, if it feels better for your neck, you can keep your head up, or you can also experiment with letting it hang back. The target of the pose is the heart and the solar plexus. And as long as we're lifting with the front of the body, we're doing it exactly right. Okay, let's start to bring our head up so that we're looking down on our toes again. And now we're just going to use a push with the forearms and the hands to bring us on back upright. And then just find an easy pose, right? Upright, but put your legs and hips wherever they feel comfortable. All right, well, let's do a little bit of professional breathing here to close this out. I'm sure you guys have been breathing great the whole class, but it's always good to have different ways of breathing, right? Because sometimes just to change things up, it's good to maybe make the exhale longer than the inhale, or maybe we want to lengthen both. We're uptight, nervous, we want to extend the inhale and the exhale. We learn how to do all that stuff. Also learn, I think I split pranayama is the Sanskrit term for breath technique or breathing work. And I always split it into two, basically the where and the when, right? So the where techniques are like where in the body we're putting our breath. The when is like how long the inhale is, how long we're holding our breath, how long we're breathing out. So I think today we will do a when technique, which is 4-7-8. The name of it is the 4-7-8 breath, because we're going to inhale for 4, and then we're going to hold our breath for 7, and then we're going to exhale for 8. Right? Not necessarily seconds. We just set it up so that you can do that count. It doesn't, like I said, it doesn't have to be 4 seconds and 7 seconds. Just make it so that it feels comfortable. If your count needs to be faster, make it faster. If it needs to be slower, make it slower. But I'll set us up maybe 2 to get it going, and then I'll be quiet, and we can each figure out our own way of doing it. Okay, so we're gonna start with an inhale. So go ahead and breathe out, and then take a nice slow inhale. 1, 2, 3, 4, and now we're gonna hold our breath. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Now breathe out real slow. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. All right, let's breathe in. 1, 2, 3, 4. And now we'll hold. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. And now we're breathing out. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. All right? Let's do a few more rounds, or a few more triangles. Excuse me. All right, you guys, that's a good one to remember. If you have trouble sleeping and you're just trying to like settle in and cool off, that one can help you settle in. The best in me bows to the best in y'all. Namaste.